What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Pat Outdoors. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get more torque out of your Kawasaki KLX140. This is my 2022 KLX140RF. RF meaning this is the model with the larger wheel set, 18-inch rear, 21-inch front, and it's also got the slightly longer swing arm, so it does sit a little higher than the other 140 models. Currently, this bike tops off at about 55 miles an hour on the street, but that's not really that important to me since I primarily use this thing for trail use. Being a 140, one thing that this bike is lacking compared to its bigger brothers like the 230 is low-end torque. So today we're going to be messing with the gearing to trade off a little bit of the top speed for more climbing power. What we're going to be doing is replacing the original 13-tooth sprocket with a 12-tooth. This one is by JT Sprockets, and here's the part number in case you need it. As far as tools that I'm using today, just an impact driver with an 8mm socket to take the bolts off the sprocket cover, snap ring pliers to take off the retaining clip holding the sprocket onto the gearbox. Just need a 10mm and 12mm wrench to adjust the chain tension by repositioning the rear wheel on the swing arm. You're also going to need a 17 and a 19mm wrench for the rear axle. If you are interested in checking out any of the items that we're using for today's project, I will have everything linked in the description below. There's a spacer on the back side of the top bolt. Pretty straightforward. Here's the size difference between the original one and the 12-tooth. It's very minimal. And that's how it's supposed to look like. Now we're going to reinstall the sprocket cover. And I thought about it again, and I figured it would be a better idea to tighten these down with a 1/4-inch drive, since you don't want to use too much torque on the bolts going onto the gearbox. That is not something you want to damage. So now you're going to notice there is excessive slack on the chain, so we're definitely going to have to shift the wheel back on the swing arm just a little bit. Make sure you're adjusting it evenly on both sides to make sure that the rear wheel is tracking straight. First, we're going to unlock the adjustment bolts. It's a 12mm. Loosen the nut on the rear axle. No need to take it off. We're just going to loosen it so that we can slide the rear axle back. Then we're going to use a 10mm to back the bolt out away from the swing arm. Once you have the chain tension adjusted right where you want it, and you're confident that you have the tensioner bolts adjusted perfectly even on both sides to make sure that the rear wheel is tracking straight, you can now torque down the rear axle by holding down the left side with a 17mm and torquing down the nut with a 19. Now I'm going to take this thing out to my local trail and see how she rips. Thank you to my wife for joining me on a ride today. This is actually our first day ever riding my Talaria. I'm surprised she's doing this.
You went through such a big drop. I cannot believe you did that. You just like...
I said, ah!
Just a couple quick notes from today's ride. I think first gear is now so short that it is almost useless. I can pretty much do all my low speed riding on second gear, but there is definitely a noticeable improvement in climbing power for third and fourth gear. I like how there's a wider RPM range of usable power in those higher gears now, though I wouldn't necessarily consider this an upgrade. I think you should only modify your gearing to suit your riding style and see what's best for the terrain that you personally like to ride on regularly. But if you enjoyed today's video or found it helpful in any way, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you like this kind of content, want to keep up with some of my projects, some of my rides, consider subscribing to this channel. But this is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching.